Glad you could join us. Now, despite a government policy withholding 1% of revenue from telecoms operators to broaden mobile connection to rural areas without network, some communities in Ghana are still without connection. After more than a decade since this policy came into force to bridge the digital divide in Ghana, Joy News' Justice Baidu has been to the Wa East District, where about half of the district's landmass is without mobile network, to find out how this is affecting lives.
These people are on a journey to make a phone call. We've been traveling from Palewogo, this small town, one of more than 20 in this area alone, where there is no connection for mobile telephony. This is a daily ritual here. Hundreds of people make this sometimes perilous journey, traveling for up to an hour just so they could place a phone call to connect with other human beings. We finally arrive under a big moringa tree. It is only here that people can access a mobile network. The people spread out in search of connection. When they finally get it, the relief on their faces is priceless. Even here, there are no guarantees. Sometimes you get connection, sometimes you don't.
Hello?
Some people in Ghana, they'll sit in their rooms to do any type of call that they want. But after we dear, you have to travel, look for a motorbike to fuel and go to that place to do the call. For doing all those things, you look as if, at times you think as if you are not even part of Ghana. When you come back to this village, as if you have just gone back into a hole.
We can get help from...
Back in the town, I sit down with Eliasu Halidu, who lost his wife, who was in labor 2 years ago because there was no network to call an ambulance when her delivery got complicated.
Some for our school children. They tried their best, they couldn't. So they said we're going to make what ambulance came and pick her to Owa. So when we didn't get the network, so before he came back, and he lost his life.
Palewogo is one of many towns in the Wa East District without mobile telephony network. More than half of the landmass of the Wa East District, where Palewogo is located, is without mobile telephony network. Government has, however, recently put up a clinic here, but even work in this facility is stifled because there is no connection.
Here being a kids compound, most of the work we do here, most of the time we have to refer if it's beyond our power. And what we do is, before you refer, where to refer is a concern. And that if there was network, you will call to be sure that where I'm referring to, there's a midwife there, which is nearer, so that it will ease time. But since there's no network, you can't call, you have to refer, go like that.
The government wants to formalize the economy, taking advantage of the booming number of mobile phones currently in use. And yet it seems many, like the people of Palewogo, are being left behind. Justice Baidu, Joy News, Palewogo, Wa East.
Let's stay with technology that's supposed to go across the nation. The National Identification Authority, NIA, has disassociated itself from pictures of national ID cards purportedly issued to minority members of parliament. In a statement, the authority described the cards as fake, adding it does not match the official cards they are issuing. The issuance of the Ghana card has been marred by some challenges, including the minority's insistence for the inclusion of voter ID cards as proof of nationality. Professor Ken Atefa has been speaking to me on happenings.
categorically that the specific cards in question are not cards that could have been issued and were not issued by the National Identification Authority. My reasons are fourfold. First, to the best of my knowledge and from my inquiries over the weekend, not a single member of the minority National Democratic Congress political party in Parliament has registered with the National Identification Authority to date. Because none has registered, the biometric and alphanumeric data, the biographical data of none of them is in our database to enable us issue a card to any of them. So there's no data on any of them from any registration any of them has participated in. None has registered and no card has been issued. Number two, the number system, the numbering system used by NIA is radically different from the numbering system on the cards. In other words, the numbers on the cards fall completely outside the scope of the NIA's numbering system. There's a formula, and this, what you find on the cards, depart radically from the formula of the NIA. Number three, the picture requirements of NIA are not met by the pictures that are on the cards. NIA photographs must meet certain international standards and specifications. Those photos of the honorable members of Parliament, as good looking as they are, do not meet the requirements. You will not expect it. I'll just say a couple of them. The registration officer will require you to take a picture with a straight face. That means two things. You must face the person taking the photograph. Look straight into the camera. You can't be looking askance. You can't be looking sideways. Number two, a straight picture. You are not to smile. You are not to frown. You are to keep a straight face. None of those pictures, to the best of my
recollection, because we saw some of them smiling, we saw some of them turning.
They don't meet those standards, and our officer would not have taken those pictures. Finally, Finally, from my checks, no one authorized by the NIA to take photographs has taken any photograph, has registered any office or any of the officers concerned. And our numbering, the card, every card that is issued, there's a code for that. There is a rigid security system to ensure that the card no card goes astray. To the extent we can tell, and mind you, this was over the weekend. Today, by noon or thereabouts, we would have had a thorough system check to ascertain whether any card had gone wayward. But from what we could tell from our checks over the weekend, our conversations with the registration officials, the heads of operation and heads of technical, none of our cards has gone out.
Now, engineers working on the Mallam Junction drain to curb perennial flooding in the area say peripheral works on the drainage will be completed by July 1 this year. This follows an earlier promise to get the drains fixed by end of May. The Ghana Highways Authority on April 30 diverted traffic at certain portions of the Mallam-Kasoa Road to pave way for the contractor to complete work within 50 days. The engineers have been explaining what is left to be done to Kojo Yankson.
Say that for the stretch that we cut and installed, we are less than 90% complete. We are yet to reinstate the asphalt, and when we do reinstatement of the asphalt, I think we'll be 100% done. As we proceeded to do the works, some additional works came into being with regards to the drainage works, and that has, let me say, increased the time that we are spending on site to date.
So currently, how much of the highway is being occupied as you complete the final 10%?
Okay, so we have various stages. So the traffic from Awoshi, Kwashiman, heading towards Weja is complete. The traffic from Odoko, Kaneshi, also heading towards Weja, Kasoa and beyond is done. And then from Kasoa heading towards Odoko, because of the peripheral works, we have taken a lane out of the 3 lanes to protect the workers whilst they are doing those peripheral works. You know, the works included the pavement that was existing that we had to cut. We are reinstating that one. We are trying to make good the edge of the culvert where the water, when it flows, would now flow out, join the existing one, and then flow out. There are a lot of works there that we have to tidy up because there's an existing pipeline by Ghana Water Company Limited. It doesn't have to be interfered, so we have to make some modifications there and continue. So by and large, I would say by early July, we would have been done with those works, and then we will plan a day, or let me say a night rather, to reinstate the asphalt aspect of the road that we have cut. And then by then we can be confident that we have completed whatever works that would affect the traffic on the stretch.
Now, there are some lanes of opposite traffic flow that also have asphalt needs. I mean, you've sort of interfered with the asphalt and need to make them good. But you're not going to be going back to work there. So why don't you make that asphalt good so that the traffic can move quicker? Because you see that there is quite a delay when people get to that bad part of the road, which also can cause traffic buildup. Is there a reason why you haven't done the bits that you are finished with while you just leave this last one lane that you're occupying?
Yes, you know, as our engineer wise indicated, we have the road infrastructure, the median, in the middle of the road. We also have the walkway on the other edge, which we have to reinstate. So when as we cross the road, you could see that there is an existing drain, you know, that had been installed under the road infrastructure, the median. And all those road infrastructure has been interfered with because we had to cut through. So after we install the culvert, we have to make good and link all the drains that were, you know, flowing under, that had been constructed under, to the ones that we had already done, and make sure that when it rains, water flows through and is connected down into the downstream of the channel. So those works are ongoing, and that's what I was trying to explain, that there are remedial works that we need to do. And until we complete those and install the curbs and make sure that it's good, it will not be wise to reinstate the asphalt at that section. Because if we reinstate the asphalt, you know, there are levels. We have to make sure that we finish those, get the levels right. And then when we are reinstating with the asphalt, we know the level which we are going. So all these works are ongoing, and until we complete, we cannot do it. And because, you know, for asphalt, when you bring the asphalt on site, it is always good that the mix that you have is consistent for all the stages, so that you have a uniform material laid evenly for all the stretches. So that is what we are delaying. When on that day that we decide to do that work, we will take one night to complete all the 3 stages. In the interim, what we're doing is that when we realize that there is some depression or the surface that we cut is not even, we have some material, the crushed rock, we combine, put it there, you know, spread it, and then compact it, just to make it smooth enough for vehicles to ply.
Okay, just to add a little bit. After the backfilling on the road, we will need the vehicles to run over for some time to make sure the compaction is properly done. Even though during the time of backfilling, we do the compaction test. But when vehicles run over for a period, then we are sure that when the asphalt is put on, there is no settlement. That's
moving on, the ongoing National Science and Maths quiz has entered the elimination stage with balloting over the weekend. The 1/8 stage of the competition promises stiffer contests, as the teams from the preliminary stages will now be facing some high-performing schools from last year's contest, including defending champions Prempeh College. Maxwell Agbagba takes us through the elimination stage and what to expect as the competition progresses.
Presby Senior High School in Kwetia, and then Yasantwa Girls, and then Presec Legon. That is happening today. It's the third contest of the day, so it will be happening at exactly 4 p.m. Now, for these 3 schools, Presec Legon, we know they've won the competition 5 times, and they are looking forward to winning it for the 6th time. Actually, Yasantwa Girls, they came into this competition. They had to compete from the preliminary stages. I remember during the prelims, they actually won with just about 32 points. And then Presby Senior High School in Kwetia also came in as the 3rd school, the school that lost but with highest points. So by virtue of that, they have qualified to the 1/8 stage of the competition. If you are looking at the favorites in this competition, then obviously it's Presec Legon. They are coming into this competition as a seeded school. They've won it 5 times, looking forward to winning it for the 6th time. So they are the favorites in this contest. Now, for the second contest of the day, we have Infantipim Senior High, Infantipim School, Nandom Senior High, and then Bolgatanga Girls. Infantipim obviously are the favorites in this particular contest. I mean, they've been seeded. They were seeded. They didn't have to go through the preliminary, contest. Bolga Girls, they scored one of the lowest, points in the preliminary contest, just gathering a little over 10 points, to qualify to the next stage of the competition. Now, another contest you should look out for is Ola Senior High School, Addis Adel College, and then Osei Tutu Senior High School. Now, Addis Adel College, they've won this competition once, but last year they were actually finalists. They were in the finals with Prempeh College, St. Thomas Aquinas, and they came 3rd, during last year's contest. Obviously, they are the favorites in this, but Osei Tutu Senior High School is likely to give them a good run for their money, because Osei Tutu Senior High School, they had the highest points in the preliminary contest. They had 64 points. At the time when we thought Konogo Dumase Senior High School would get the highest points, that's 61 points. We had Osei Tutu Senior High School beating them with the highest points, 64 points. Now in that contest, the 2nd place school, Osei Tutu Senior High School, beats the 2nd place school with over 40 points. I tell you that, yes, these guys are really are really determined to win the National Science and Maths quiz. So for Addis Adel College, Osei Tutu Senior High School, Ola Senior High School also, I mean, sadly, we cannot really predict what's going to happen in this particular contest. But another round of competition to look out for is contest 12. We have Bishop Herman College, Academy of Christ the King, and then Mauli School. Now, Mauli School is coming into this competition as a seeded school. So they didn't, by virtue of qualifying to the semi-finals in last year's contest, they didn't have to go through the prelims. So they were just comfortable, just chilling in their bed, waiting for these 2 teams, Academy of Christ the King and then Bishop Herman, to join them. In this particular contest, Mauli School is coming as the favorite, because even for Bishop Herman College, they qualified to the 1/8 stage of the competition with just 32 points. Considering that Osei Tutu Senior High School qualified with 64 points, Bishop Herman qualified with just about half of that. So really, that's not really too impressive. So for this particular contest, we know Mauli School, they are coming in as the favorites for this particular contest. And you know that the rivalry, the Volta region rivalry between Bishop Herman and Mauli School will definitely play out in this particular contest. And we'll be watching, keenly. Another
Now, KNUST SHS has qualified to the next stage of the National Science and Maths Quiz competition. Nancy Emefa-Jodosi spoke to contestants from Ada, Sunyani and KNUST SHS before the competition.
I've been joined by the 3rd contestant who may be substituted during this particular contest. I have with me the seeded school, KNUST Senior High. I have Adan Senior High School and also have Sunyani Senior High School. Now, Sunyani Senior High School won by 31 points during the preliminary stages. Adan Senior High School also won by 50 points. That's massive for you. Let me just find out from them how prepared they are. I'll come to you since you are a seeded school. Let me just deal with this once. Let me find out from you, Adan Senior High School. How prepared are you The contest will start in a few minutes. How prepared are you ahead of this?
I'll say we are very prepared. I mean, we've been able to do a lot of things since our preliminary stage of the competition, and I'll say we are very prepared. I'm sure KNUST should watch out for us because we are going to kick them out.
KNUST should watch out for you. What's your response to that?
We shall see.
Simply, we shall see. But then let me speak to you, Sunyani Senior High School. I mean, you won by 31 points in the preliminary stages. How many points are you looking out to getting in this 1A stage?
Oh, we are looking forward to get a minimum of 60 points because the 31 points was some sort of mistake that we did. And during our trial contest, during the regional competitions, indeed, we did marvelously and we performed marvelously. We are expecting to do much greater than we did.
Are you fully prepared to match these schools boot for boot today?
Oh, we are very, very prepared. Very, very much prepared.
On a scale of 0 to 10, how prepared are you?
10%. We are accurately 100%. I will not scale it from 0 to 10, but I'll scale it 100%. We are fully prepared.
We'll be watching you. I mean, we'll come back, and then after the contest, we'll come back and speak to you. But let me just also find out from you. Also, you said you are very prepared, but on the scale of 0 to 10, he said 100%. I don't know where your confidence lies in this particular contest.
1,000. 1,000%, that's all. 1,000.
You're sure you're winning?
We are sure we are winning.
Are you sure you're winning?
Yeah, we are winning.
KNUST Senior High School, you were seeded last year. I think University Practice took you out during the quarterfinals last year. What are you bringing on board this year?
Oh, for this year, our motto is forward be our watchword. And we believe and then we pray that we shall move on and on till we reach the ultimate.
So. These schools are saying that they're going to beat you. They're qualifying straight to the quarterfinals. They're eliminating you. Are you giving them any chance?
Oh, for this year, we are sorry because this year we are taking the ultimate. We are taking the crown to our school, and nothing is stopping us. With God on our side.
He has 100% confidence. He has 1,000. Where does yours lie?
Mine is infinity.
Infinity. All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. But let me just speak to your teachers. I think I have spotted, that's KNUST, your teacher, right? And also, that's Adan Senior High School. Adan Senior High School, get close to me. I think throughout all the contests, I have witnessed Adan Senior High School over the years come back. You know, sometimes you beat some of the big schools. This year, what are you bringing on board? What are you bringing? What's the new thing Adan Senior High School is bringing?
We are trying to be a bit faster with our speed race. That is what we are trying to do new. That is all.
Are you winning this?
For sure. God has already given us victory before we step here, so we are won.
Hopefully, after the contest, we'll come back to you and speak to you.
Yes, I know what I'm saying. It is done.
All the best to all competing teams today and for the rest of the competition. Now, the Director of Counter-Terrorism, Ministry of Defense, George Isiama, is calling for a multi-agency approach in fighting terrorism. He says a single approach and debate about which security agency is the lead agency in tackling threats to the country is not the best. According to him, the police may be seen as a lead agency, but it does not have the capacity to deal with the form of threat.
There was a time that there was a big fuss with the police and the military thinking about who is going to be the lead agency. When you read all the books, they say, yes, the police is the lead agency. It's true. It's the lead agency in terms of this kind of threat. But after the event, the post-event investigations, the police will have to investigate further and prosecute. But the police may not have the capacity, the capability to confront the threat. So if we have about 3 or 4 people trying to take a hotel or do this or that, and the police see to you can take the threat, well and good. We call on the scene, and then the military will stand by. But if they will stand by, but they will not stand by for the police to be defeated. They will have to be around and to give support to the police. And when, for example, a bomb is thrown, the police, we do not know how to deal with bomb threats. If there is a threat from a bomb attack, quickly the military must take over because they have the capability to deal with that kind of threat. So the issue of who is the lead agency or this or that, it's not an issue. It's not what we are thinking about. It's how to work harmoniously together. If there is fire outbreak, the military and the police will have to allow the fire service to work on the fire before they can go ahead. Immigration at our borders, they give us information about what is going to happen. And while even the event is going on, they will have to see whether some dissidents or some terrorists have infiltrated, whether they are leaving our borders or whatever be the case. They give us that kind of intelligence. So in short, I would say that multi-agency approach is the best thing that we can do to confront the threat of terrorism. Without that, if we work independently, we are going to miss the mark.
Now, on to some soccer matters. Now, the former president of the Ghana Football Association, GFA, Kwesi Nyantakyi, who has been charged with defrauding by false pretense for allegedly using the name of President Akufo-Addo and that of Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to extort money from some investors, has vowed to contest the allegations against him. The corruption allegations against him follow number 12, the investigative documentary by Anas Arimea Anas. In a press statement, Mr. Nyantakyi explained his side of the story in the matter that's resulted in his suspension from the World Football Governing Body, FIFA. Here are some highlights of the statement. So Mr. Nyantakyi says, from the onset, let me state that I do not support corruption in any form. The statement also says those comments resulted from a poor exercise of discretion arising on the spur of the moment and in the circumstances in which I interacted with the supposed sheikh and his agents. I think I was carried away by the lies represented to me. And here Mr. Nyantakyi is referring to the statements he's alleged to have made where he said that if some monies are given him, he can help these investors to get some government contracts. It also says Mr. Swale, the one who informed the GFA about the investors' interest, told us that the Sheikh gave $8 million in financial support to the National Democratic Congress, NDC, and then President John Mahama in December 2016 for the general elections. Viewers will recall this statement was made to the police as well when he was being questioned a few weeks ago. He said, I further stated that the president, vice presidents, ministers, and deputy ministers all came out of a costly election. So in making the provision to offer financial support to the party, he should donate to the NPP party. He also says, I would request that Tiger Eye does us a favor by playing the full video or audios of all the meetings held with Swale. Now, Mr. Nyantakyi's public relations officer, Martin Obeng, has joined us in the studio to discuss this a bit further. Mr. Obeng, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, welcome.
It's great to have you. Now, in the first place, what are the concerns, the summary of the concerns being raised by Mr. Nyantakyi?
Well, thank you. And the major concerns in this video, as raised by Mr. Nyantakyi, is that one, it is said in the video that he has received an amount of $65,000 being an amount for shopping, of which most Ghanaians they don't go down well with Ghanaians. And we have to state clear here that there was no certain amount of $65,000 that was given to Mr. Nyantakyi. We also saw in the video that a bundle of notes, same note was given, and it was 7 he picked himself. One fell down, they took it for him. Which obviously could have not been $100 notes, because $100 notes in 8 bundles, $80,000. It was 50 bundle notes, which was $40,000. And this one was a cost they themselves, Sule and the rest, and the Anasis group, after they met Mr. Nyantakyi here in Ghana, told him that they needed to meet a sheikh in Emirates, city called Dubai. And for that matter, in Dubai, he was supposed to buy the ticket. And when he gets there, he went to Dubai, and the sheikh did not show up. Once again, he was called to come to Dubai again, and he met them. He also has to foot the bills for 3 other persons that his lawyer, Anas's lawyer, have come out to say that it included a former footballer and the president of Liberia. And they all know that they asked Nyantakyi to foot the bills, and the hotels that they lodge in, everything have been stated clear. And this were the cost, the real cost. And in the statement, we stated that the real cost was $61,000.
Okay.
And if you ask me to do an expenditure and I do it and you are reimbursing me, you give me part of it, and you take a video and you go and superimpose the voice that I'm giving you $65,000, that you know definitely that was $40,000 refund, but we all say it that way. Then that means that there was something diabolic. And
did Mr. Nyantakyi go in his capacity as GFA president?
No, he went in his private name.
He went in his personal capacity?
Yes, personal capacity to that place.
To negotiate a possible sponsorship deal for
that particular trip was basically on the projects that they have talked about, road project and some oil refinery project. GFA's own was just a bit of it, so he could have not gone in an official capacity to talk about this.
He went to meet with an investor to discuss projects that this investor would like to carry out in Ghana?
In this republic, yes.
In what capacity does Mr. Nyantakyi operate?
He's a business advisor, and as a businessman, I own a business in the Emirates, and I can discuss with anybody in the Emirates. The reason why I came to this, when I heard all these things go, I said, wow, but this man, as an individual, can go anywhere in the world and bring in investors to this country. I mean, if you have the requisite skills and the contacts to do that, why not? And
again, who is he a business advisor to?
He's not a business advisor to anybody, but he's a business person himself. And when
you mentioned that he's a business advisor. So who does he advise?
No, you can have a business advisory services. It makes you a business advisor. That does not necessarily mean that you are advising a particular person. If you have your own business and you're advising people who have interest in investment, anybody that come your way that you think the person have an interest in your country, that is the Republic of Ghana, to invest, or anywhere else that you can offer the advice and partner the person to do it, fantastic.
So he was advising the sheikh when he met him.
He met the sheikh, and the proposed sheikh, and now we know that it's a fake sheikh.
So let's call him the sheikh.
I can't say the sheikh because
for the sake of this conversation, the fake sheikh is a long expression.
Right. Okay.
So he was advising the sheikh.
The sheikh, when he met the sheikh, his representative here in Ghana, they told him that the sheikh was interested in other business like oil refinery, and we all know that at this current stage where there's a whole lot of issues around it. So he saw an opportunity. He was talking about roads and BOT. Everybody knows for the past 20 years in Ghana that the government is embarking on.
Sorry to step in like this for the sake of time. I just want to make it clear. He was meeting the sheikh to advise him on business.
One, the reps of the sheikh met him to talk about GFA sponsorship. Then they brought in the interest of the sheikh in investments in Ghana.
Okay.
So there were 2 investment portfolios that they were going to talk about.
Okay.
The GFA one was the third one. So obviously could have the GFA one, which is 1/3, could have not shadowed the 2/3. So that was the main purpose for which he attended that meeting.
Right. So he went for 3 main purposes.
Exactly so.
But you mentioned that he went as a business advisor and not as a GFA president.
At that particular point that he was talking about the businesses in this country, he's a private individual, that he owns businesses, he's a business advisor, he can advise anybody. And know that he's a lawyer as well. And he has all the requisite for a business advisor. So at that particular point in time, he did nothing wrong for talking to somebody to come and invest in Ghana.
Well, you see, you mentioned that he's giving someone advice. Do you think that as a Ghanaian, Martin, are you comfortable when the advice a business advisor will give a foreigner is to part with monies to give to the presidents, the vice presidents, and ministers?
That was not part of the discussion. I want to state here that that particular audio was important from their discussion in Ghana and put in that video, because when you look at that part, you only see above the forehead of Nyantakyi. But in the other video, as Anas showed, you could see Nyantakyi sitting down or standing having a discussion. So that part was not at that particular point in time. It was in their first meeting that the issue of investing in Ghana and the president issue. And it was Anas's group that first told him that their sheikh had sponsored some political party in the past. And for that matter, they can sponsor this same political party, and advised him that when he meets the sheikh, he should talk about that to the sheikh so that it will confirm what they have done. And that is where we say it's a clear case of entrapment.
So what you're saying is Mr. Nyantakyi was advised by the sheikh's representatives to tell the sheikh to pay money to the president.
By the Sule in Ghana in their first meeting. So that is why we are asking them to come up with it.
I'd like a yes or no answer to that. Mr. Nyantakyi was advised by the sheikh's representatives to tell the sheikh to pay money to the president.
Exactly so.
But Mr. Nyantakyi is a trained lawyer, a seasoned statesman, someone who has been around for 3 or 4 presidents, and he went to speak like this about a president on someone's advice?
That's why he has apologized. That one was an accident. His interest, he was acting in good faith to bring something to Ghana. And that was why such comments, of which is not solely what he said at that particular point in time. And he has already apologized to that. You and I can fall to some of this scam, because this is a complete scam. And knowing that you are bringing something to Ghana, the joy that comes to you, and if you make any statement, they should bring out the full audio or video that transpired. Then you and I will understand why Mr. Nyantakyi said that and why he should have not said that.
There is a part of the statement where it says that, and I'm reading verbatim, I advise that these amounts should be paid to the NPP subject to the political parties law. And these amounts, as he says, $5 million in the name of not to the president. And he goes on to say $3 million in the name of not to the vice president. And it goes on and on and on there. What does this mean?
You know, it was put out there that he said the monies were supposed to be given to the president and the vice president, the road minister and the deputy road minister. And I said, no, that was not it. Like, he advised that since they have said that they have paid money in the past, I don't want to sound political. I'm a politician. I don't want to sound political in this.
That's fine. You have to say what you have to say.
So he wanted to devoid of politics. So if you have done this, then if you want to pay money, make sure that because of the Political Party Act in Ghana, make sure you pay to the party and let it be in accordance. So if you fully read the statement, he said that let it be in accordance with the Political Party Act in Ghana. And that one was fantastic.
Martin, I remember specifically watching the premiere. Mr. Nyantakyi told whoever he was speaking to, I will meet with you and the president in one room. You can give the money to the president.
You saw that video.
I remember it specifically.
You saw that video, my brother. In that video, all what was showing of Nyantakyi was in full picture. But that particular point in time, it was the forehead and whatever. I also saw, I was there watching for the very first time, the 3 o'clock one. And that was where I started raising concern. Though at that particular point in time, I've never met Mr. Nyantakyi anywhere. So it was out of those gimmicks that I saw in the video that I started raising questions on this issue. And I saw that, yes, perhaps the man might have done nothing wrong and it was being framed up. And that is exactly the case. And see, these are people that were able to unauthorizedly access the emails of Mr. Nyantakyi. I have in my hands about some 4 documents I'm going to give to you.
We'll come to those in a moment. But you see, you've responded to what I said. But Mr. Nyantakyi, again, knowing full well what the laws of Ghana stipulates, he's been a lawyer for years, is advising a foreign contractor to donate money to a political party.
In accordance with the Political Party Act. That is what it is. In accordance with add that one. Don't just as cut off statement.
Does the Political Party Act, which part of the Political Party Act allows foreign investors to invest, to donate to local political parties?
If he stated clearly that in accordance with the Political Party Act, you also realize that in that same videos, there were advices that monies, in order to not be caught in the anti-money for sake of anti-money laundering issues, monies were supposed to be paid to a particular bank in Ghana or banks in Ghana. From there, that things could be done. It could be that because they had a representative in Ghana, and for that matter, they could pass through their representative and say that we making this donation. But
are you saying this
one important?
Are you saying this on authority?
I'm coming. Let me complete this.
If I may, are you saying this on authority that they have a local representative in Ghana and he asked a local representative in Ghana to make the donations?
Oh, of course, yes, but he was approached by their local representative, that is the Sule. That is why he said he advised that it should be in accordance with the Political Party Act in Ghana.
And he said this on tape.
He said this on tape. That's why we have asked Anna to, as a matter of urgency, in 24 hours, let him bring all the videos. He says that the CID have requested for this, so that means that it's readily available. Let him bring it out, play it, let's all watch it, let's make our judgment. Play all the audios so that they will know what you said that warranted for that response. Then we will know what and see. The first time such an entrapment happened in the history of mankind was in the Garden of Eden, when the serpent told Eve to take up the fruit, and he subsequently gave to Adam. You know what God did? When God came and the story was narrated, the first thing he did that he cursed the serpent, the first person, the one who caused it. And in this case, he announces the one that we're supposed to ask questions. It's not anybody. Because we say that the video that he has brought is tempered with he had an ulterior motive for putting up that video, and that he has been paid for to do that video.
Talking about being paid to do the video, I'm going to read a part of the conclusion. It says, let me also confirm that there was a demand on me through a lawyer to part with $150,000 for Anas to drop the videos on me. Which lawyer was this?
My brother, as of now that I speak, I will not be able to disclose the name of the lawyer to you because Mr. Yantechi is taking legal actions against all the said group, Anas's group, and whoever, and it will be very, he see it.
At what time was this request made?
At what time? It was just about the time that they were about to premiere, just this year, about some few months ago. And you know,
did you say this year, some months ago, or some weeks ago, or some days ago?
It could be some weeks ago, not too long.
It could be some. Are you certain?
It's not too long from now because the video is in this ended in October.
Martin, you are the public relations officer for President Yantechi.
Yes.
I would like a specific date.
I'm saying
when this
few
weeks
to the premiere of the video.
Can you give me a date? Can you give me a date? Can you give me a month?
It was a month before the, so obviously it's in the month of May.
In the month of May?
Yeah.
That a request was made from a lawyer?
Yeah.
And what was this request specifically?
To drop the whole video. Note, there are a lot of people that were in the video, some people that their names have been taken off. And very soon we're going to come up with all those names.
You see, I'm curious because in the month of May, Anas Arimea, Anas and Tiger Eye had begun publicizing that they would show this video.
Yeah.
In fact, it was in the month of May that the president made a complaint to the police.
Latter part of May, yeah.
I said it was in the month of May. You are not specific as to the time that this was done.
I'm just trying to help you to be specific because you are asking me to be specific.
But you haven't given me a specific time.
Okay, let's
go. So my question is that it was in this month of May that the president made a complaint to the police for the arrest. So at what point? Was it after the complaint was made to the arrest of?
Before.
And it was after Anas had started advertising
before
that. It was before Anas had started advertising that he would show this?
I actually don't know when Anas started advertising, but it was in the month of May, same month, early month.
When Anas was advertising that he would show this?
No, it was before that.
It was before, no, but like you said, the advertisements began before May.
The advertisement did not, the actual advertisement did not begin before May. They were just talking about the possible video that
was out on social media.
Yes, it was out, but that time it was not specifically. Everybody knew that there was something of Anas going to come out, and it's going to come out around football and the football people, as one of your presenters will put it. And so everybody was out there. And it was the same time, the same period that some other people were taken off because they were approached. The other people that were in the video that were taken off, but unfortunately for Mr. Yantechi's own, at that particular point in time, was not able to take off because he was not able to pay that said money, or perhaps somebody might have heard about the arrangement to pay the supposed investigator off.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question from 5.5 when he talks about middlemen. The point 4 before that, Mr. Yantechi says his signature on the MOU is fake. And then in point 5, it says that It was further added that I put myself as a middleman for a sponsorship deal. He says that this is ridiculous. And then he says, I advise the cost of activation should not be part of the $50 million. The MOU bears that out. So I'm asking here, in point 4, you are saying the MOU, a part of the MOU is fake, and in point 5, you said that the MOU bears that out. Should we believe the MOU or we should not?
We should not believe the MOU, but at a point in time, we use whatever Anas has put there to judge or to support the argument that we are doing. He did not sign any MOU. But however, that does not stop him from, because Anas published the MOU, that does not stop him from quoting from the MOU to buttress the point that was. So exactly that was what he was doing.
Martin Obeng, thank you very much for joining us. Martin Obeng is Public Relations Officer for Kwesi Nyantakyi. And this is Joy News today. Manuel Abuajibi Afi joins us next with business.